NSC Fan TV, Scott.
Drew.
We, download after that win with Atlanta. 3-1.
3 goals. We saw 3 go in for us. We saw 1 in for them. It was a soft pen.
Pretty soft pen.
It was just...
Dax could have hopped back, or like, what do you have to do in those sort of cases? It's like they get in close, they get a little woozy.
They get a little. He fell back into me. Oh no! Well, the thing is, this isn't the greatest place to start a video, but they had to look at it. And so on the pitch, the referee thought it was completely okay, but in his ear, they did not think it was okay. You know?
Had to go back, look at it slow-mo, look at every blade of grass, look at a grimace on a face.
Yep.
So, okay, and soft pens happen. Right? Pens happen, soft pens happen. We get some, they get some.
Yeah.
You know, when you score 3, you make yourself invulnerable to the roll of the dice, to the roll of the dice that the soccer gods have thrown out for us. And so, Hani playing a role in all 3 goals.
Yeah, Hani playing an essential role in all 3.
Yeah.
I mean,
so service to Fafa on the backside for that for the first goal, for that great corner, dropped it in over everybody. Miles Robinson jumping it as high as he can, saying, "Oh, the ball's over me." I'm the biggest guy on the pitch. How'd they get over me?
And he was, dude's tall.
Dude's tall.
I mean, dude's tall.
And then
so the second was to
that drive down the left. Yeah. Bounce. It was
The
effectively a
counter-attack.
bounce pass to Bunbury off the keeper's chest.
Honestly, it was like, oh shit, and then Bunbury just
that was a great drive. I didn't think that Hani had the angle. It turns out that the goalkeeper was like, "Yeah, you don't have the angle here." So
I'll give you off of me. And then finally was to Schaffelberg, and he really
just a perfect through ball, and Schaffelberg showed speed, showed pace,
showed composure,
right? Having to put it in with his right foot, and blazing again. I'm going to say Miles Robinson's name again because dude got smoked.
He got smoked. When I saw Schaffelberg, I was like, he's still got legs. That's the thing. And
Robinson's been running for 70.
Schaffelberg came in, and it was like, boom, yeah. He had legs on him, and he absolutely smoked him. I mean,
just blew right past him.
Felt good.
Awesome.
And Atlanta traveled well, like we had been stating, and blew them away.
It's exactly. There's a lot of people in red disappointed.
Quite a few.
A lot of people in red disappointed. We welcomed him. Hey, welcome to Nashville. Try some hot chicken over here. We got a great hot chicken. Don't worry, we'll find another way to. If you don't have any, we'll find another way to upset your stomach.
Oh, yeah, we smoked you. I mean, there's something about it though. I think you don't have the jersey, do you?
I don't have the jersey. I didn't bring the Atlanta jersey, but I did bring it as a prop for some of the interviews after the game.
You know, there's just this bit of like, it's not Schadenfreude because there's a rivalry, and so I'll say it's a little better than that. But to see them, it's good to see us do well. And it's good to see them go down too. You know? I mean, it goes both ways.
So the philosopher Plutarch made a distinction between being rivals and having hate.
Yeah.
The distinction. So it's miseos and phthonos.
Yeah.
The difference, he says, is what happens to you whenever the person that you either are rivalrous with or hate has had something bad happen to them.
Yeah.
If you merely have a rivalry, your disdain for them goes away whenever bad things happen to them.
Yeah.
You feel okay. Like you're like, okay, you're all right over there. Whereas if you hate them and bad things happen to them, you feel elated.
You're like, great, I love this. I love how they're suffering.
That's exactly.
I'm gonna quote you. We got a distinction from Plutarch. It's very helpful.
Yeah.
It's a great distinction. You said, punish them.
Punish them.
Punish them.
That's exactly. We're sitting next to each other.
At a counterattack situation.
Punish them.
Leave no prisoners. Like, just absolutely,
Yeah, Plutarch would say, Aiken hates them.
Aiken hates them.
Yeah, they're down. We're beating them. He was like, no. Run it up now. I want to see 5.
I want to see 5. Well, the thing is, could we have saw 5?
Yeah, I thought that there was maybe 1 or 2 chances that we had that could have been turned into something. But the good news was that like they found no good options.
No,
with us. And I thought that our midfield did a great job with Almada. He was becoming so frustrated. He was dropping back all the way to their CDM with he's standing shoulder to shoulder with Souza to get the ball. That again shows the fact that their offense wasn't working.
And it shows the fact that our defense was working.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's something that I was critical of in the first part of the first half. But, you know, going forward, I mean, the fact that we were able to collapse on him when needed. Yeah. Yeah. The second goal went in. He was so frustrated. He absolutely had to get the ball no matter what. I mean, and that's just running him dry. That was their biggest offensive threat. And so felt good to see that happen.
Yeah.
I mean,
and so kudos to the CDMs, to our to Dax and to Anibal
and to the subs.
So
Anuga coming in hot. I mean,
and Gregor's looking good.
Gregor's, yeah.
And to the center backs, I mean, he put his nose down and dribbled at them a number of times, and both Mayer and Zimmerman were able to either force him wide, slow him up, dispossess him in one case where it's like he dribbled right at Zimmerman.
Zimmerman absolutely ate his lunch. Yeah, I love seeing that. It was also great. I mean, best defender in MLS.
Yeah, I tell you,
got the award. Got the award.
That award doesn't go for nothing.
It doesn't go for nothing. He ate his lunch. Seeing Almada come here and got the pen. It wasn't a great pen. I mean, Joe got off on the wrong foot.
It's a savvy pen.
I think that's a good way to put it. I mean, he made him pick the wrong foot to go on, and that's all it took.
Yeah.
You know, there wasn't a lot of pace on it, and so in a sense, he just made him commit, and that's all he needed. Yeah. He being Joe, but it wasn't a bad pen. I don't think it was great though. I think it wasn't a great one.
You don't need it. So if you can wait out the keeper and know which way he's going, and then wrong foot him. You got it.
That's all you needed. Yeah.
Someone was yelling beside me like some nonsense, like Joe pick a side. He's like, he did.
He did. Well,
that's what happened. Joe picked a side, and Almada was like, "Oh, I see the side you're going to. I'm going out the other way." That's why it looked the way that it did, was that Joe was going to dive right. Almada saw it and then put it left. And Joe was like, correction.
As soon as your foot's down, all they need to do is have it outside of your immediate reach. Yeah. If you can't just extend your leg and stop it, then you're wrong-footed. It's not going to happen.
Correct.
I mean,
So that happens. It was a savvy pen, and that happens. I mean, if you get 10 pens, you're going to wrong foot the keeper, and you're a patient, experienced penalty taker. Yeah. You're going to wrong foot the keeper a lot.
And that's all you need. So, and then So I mean, it's an awful soft pen, and it was savvy. I'll give it that. Was it good? It wasn't like he blasted it in the top, but
don't need that.
Yeah.
So I want to talk, and Emma was talking about this in a previous, a little bit earlier, whenever we talked to him after the game. But I just want to say, like, in terms of the harassment that our front crew, those front four, we put a lot of, and kudos, by the way, to CJ for getting a goal with Toronto away. Good for him, breaking getting a goal on Saturday.
Breaking the spell,
it's exactly. Too bad not for us. Glad that he's finding some success elsewhere.
He's a great player.
Yeah, and
he's a great player.
I don't want to see him have success against us, but take everyone else down. That's fine.
Get after him, CJ. Just don't celebrate against us.
Yeah,
if you score, don't celebrate against us. Give us a little,
Yeah, I think but if you score against Atlanta, make it 5.
If you score against Atlanta, dance on the grave.
That's exactly it. That's exactly it. Miseos, not Thanos.
Not Thanos. Yeah.
So I think that, but. With CJ gone, we don't have a sort of a designated harasser of their offense.
No.
And I thought that Emma made a really great observation that it was really well distributed over our front four. It paid all sorts of dividends, by the way, against San Antonio, because it was Fafa who got the ball off the right back's foot to create the chance for our goal. It was Fafa who got it and then put it across to Zubac.
Yep.
But it was harassment that created that chance. And I'm really pleased to see us having a solution to the fact of look, we don't have a high press. We kind of fall back. We're not going if we turn the ball over, we're not going to have the 5 seconds of hell to get the ball back and things. Yeah. That's not how we play. Gary's perfectly happy for us to be like, hey, you got the ball back, congratulations. Now can you crack the turtle shell?
Yep. And if you can, then Joe will hold it down, but if you probably won't be able to. Some CDM will snatch it off your foot, and then we'll see it back in transition.
That's right.
But
those front four did a great job giving harassment.
They did,
making them unsettled.
And it's the mark of excellent teamwork going forward, because I mean it's too typical in soccer where we have situations where people they need it right here. Yeah. If it doesn't come within my 2-yard range, then I'm not going to run after it. And so we saw running after it. We saw press. We saw urgency.
Yeah,
is really what that is.
Yeah. And
I mean, against Atlanta, you need that.
Yeah.
And we saw that, and it worked out. I mean, but I'm with you, and this is why I want to give just kudos to CJ's game in being a harasser, because all it takes is just making the keeper make a hasty pass. Get a midfielder to just drop it to somebody who's got a man on it.
Yeah.
And that's all it takes sometimes for something magical to happen. Even if something doesn't happen, you've created chances, you've gotten in their heads, and you've let them know they can't have all day on the ball.
That's right.
And
they don't, right. You can't slow up, straighten up your back,
and take a look
way downfield. It's like, route one, baby.
Yeah, just ping it, and none of that. It's CJ's on your ass.
Yeah.
I mean,
and and even if it's just something as simple as just a bad pass out of bounds, that's a turnover. And
it's more chance in their side of the pitch. I mean, it's essential, and we saw so much urgency, and I really liked that.
Yeah, I really like that. And one other thing that you had said that I wanted to change the subject just a little bit to, but it was off of what you had said, which was needing the ball to feet. Not everybody here in our, and so again, not everyone on our team needs the ball to feet. In fact, we play a lot to space.
Yeah.
But we have been disburdened of a player that needs ball to feet. Ake Loba has now. We are no longer contracted with Ake Loba. We are free to chase a real 9. He's been wearing 9.
He's been wearing 9.
This was his. This is how Ake Loba shows. Put it between. You have to put it right on my instep. That's the only way it needs to happen.
If it's
the inside of my foot there.
And then even then he'll just dribble down and then dribble right to defense. I feel like we try to be positive. We don't have too much bad stuff to say about when things happen. But with Loba, it feels like being disburdened.
Yeah,
it feels like
this was a breakup that needed to happen much earlier.
Money's back. DP spot is back. That is huge, guys.
Yeah.
If you don't know MLS rules on DP picks and how that works, that's huge, and it's going to mean that we can pursue somebody who's a real 9.
Who's a real 9, and who can play that role in a way that sort of takes the burden off Hani. We got 3 goals without Hani having to kick it in. But it was 3 goals that required Hani to do something to make them happen.
And we saw Hani go down. And get a yellow card on the defender who came down on him. And so, like you always say, we could be one Hani Mukhtar injury from
being a wooden spoon.
And you hate to see him go down, but when he has to go after the ball like that so much against heavy-footed defenders, I mean,
yeah. Every time Souza got near him, I was like, man, cheap shot artist is gonna just
number 5, man.
That dude is nothing but just.
He's cheap.
He lives on muscle milk alone.
He's so cheap. He's such a cheap defender. Cheap shot artist.
Cheap shot artist is what he is. And again, he does. Everyone hates the other team's goon, and that's what he is. He is a friggin' goon.
No, he's a goon.
And God, just hate that guy.
Yeah, he's eminently hateable.
Yeah,
I mean that's the thing.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I think, for example, Gutmann on their side, their left wing, he's eminently likable. I mean, anytime I saw him and Almada I was like, damn,
that Gutmann is he's a
sweet.
I
gotta give credit where it's due.
I think their 2 outside players are just fantastic. I think that Brooks Lennon is awesome. Brooks Lennon is great. That Gutmann character, he's a really fine player.
He's a trucker. He's not a great defender, ironically, but he doesn't need to be.
Yeah.
Because I think they're 3 who stay across the back are just fine. He just burst it down that left wing. That's all he needs to do, and he does it.
He does it well.
Him and Almada so many times for overlap. I mean, his crossing game was not bad at all. He's a great left winger. Yeah. I mean, he's approaching Lovett's level of just flying down that with that left and just swinging it in. I mean, That's really sharp. Yeah,
so I did notice that we did turtle up pretty significantly. We did go to a 5 in the back for maybe the last 5 minutes. Washington coming on as the sort of the furthest out of the left.
That's right. Come on for Bunbury, right?
Come on for Bunbury, I think that Gary was like, okay, 3's good. We're gonna rope-a-dope him for the last handful of minutes here.
We're parking it. It's getting parked, and turtle shell is just. You're not gonna break this. I mean, yeah, it worked out. Yeah. I mean, we had more chances in that extra time, than they did.
Clearly, the one that counted.
The one that counted is yeah. So
were you? So when they got the pen, so they were pressing. We were up 2-0. They got the pen. And I would say there was about 15 minutes. Where pretty much everyone wearing yellow was like, "Oh, man, the Five Stripes could do this. Yeah, they've got this in them. Yeah, they get that pen. They're like, okay, we're scoring here. We know how to win games. We know how to. Who's Nashville anyhow? Look at the star on our shirt here. So there was about 15 minutes where I think everybody in the stadium was like, this could be a nightmare.
That's right. I mean, I thought honestly that it was going to be a draw.
You did. You came in saying 2-2, didn't you?
I came in saying, so I predicted 4 goals.
You did predict 4
goals.
But
I did predict they'd score another. I mean, honestly, because that Almana's is so canny. I mean, and he, like I said, after that second one went in for us, he was just on it. He was enraged. Yeah. He was in a fury.
He was ready.
I mean, he was chasing nothing but that ball and trying to kick it in the back of that net.
And so, as a consequence, kudos to the back four and to the CDMs to just to weather that, because the game shifted and we had to take a lot of their energy and disperse it and keep them out. We played really narrow. Play
really narrow. Yeah.
I just think that that's it takes a special set of players to either be really canny with the ball to be able to sort of thread through that, especially given how we shift, or it takes like a sort of a perfect pinger of a pass to be able to sort of diagonal across, because whenever Gary's got those fours, they all just sort of go and they're like, okay, it's a kind of a press on the ball and that's great, and it makes it really hard, because again, it's just too tight to get through.
It's like a phalanx.
Yeah, it's like exactly.
Phalanx. It was like everybody keep break, keep break.
That's exactly it. Everyone's got their hoplites running at them. Yeah. So it's a lot of great stuff happening.
A whole lot of great stuff.
But it's it's kind of a tight formation, and the way that you beat a phalanx is that you come in from the sides. And the way that you beat those 4-4-2s is that you've either got someone who can sort of do tight dribble work and can sort of cut them through the middle. You route one over the top of them, or you do these sort of really wild diagonal passes to whoever's left on the backside. And again, that's the reason why the sort of the harassing play in the front is so important for 4-4-2s, is because what you're trying to do whenever you're trying to break the 4-4-2 is set up deep, have them come press you on this side, and then exploit that on the backside. And so that's the reason why the harassers need to play the role that they're doing. And they weren't able to do that very often. I mean, there were a handful, and again, given the quality of play from someone like Brooks Lennon or that Gutman, that leaves us really super vulnerable. But we handled it well, and our outside backs are fast and canny and know to look for that.
And you've got Joe.
Joe made some great saves.
Who was making great saves. I mean,
kudos to Joe.
I mean, when all else fails, you expect that Joe's canny enough to be where he needs to be. With that stash, man. He said, I hate when he has to say no. That's the thing. There's something about the chant that tempts fate and makes you want to because I'm like, he did say no and it was excellent. But I wish he didn't have to. I hate when he needs to, but when he does, I mean, usually it works out. So
still a good defensive effort, though.
Oh yeah. great defensive effort. I mean, yeah, the thing about 4-4-2, yeah, with the harasser situation, I mean, that's really why it, I think, lends itself well to those really quick, tight passes once people do get forward, because you've got such a, like, or you should, if it's played right, I think, have such a urgent press forward when they do have the ball right really deep.
Yeah.
So.
And my last point, transition play was great.
Transition play, yeah.
Transition play was great. That look, we absorb pressure well. We don't do that sort of, again, that 5 seconds of hell if we turn the ball, where we really collect ourselves well.
Go into it, yeah,
but then they turn the ball and we're like, we've just got so many folks who are just like, they're immediately looking like, okay, where's space? I know, right? Like, I know my right back is like, oh, they turned it.
Yeah.
Time to burn.
I'm going to be where I need to be.
Yeah.
But that's the importance of having a system and a formation. And I think that's something that Gary slid into when it was a straightforward 4-4-2 a few seasons ago at Nissan. And I think that's something we didn't see Wednesday night against San Antonio, partially due to the fact that we didn't have everyone who had been typically on the ball, right, on the starting first 11, first string. And so there was a disconnect between the midfield and the going forward with like Zubak on Wednesday. We did not at all have that problem over the weekend against Atlanta. I think you're right.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much all I've got to say.
All right, I think we're done. Okay, NSC Fan TV. Thanks, guys.